Right, so everyone's here. We are good to go, I believe. Yeah, everyone's here and everyone seems to be ready. So we will swap over to the correct scene. I will unmute and undeafen. Hi,
You mean like
guys.
talking about like how we're not obviously going to have careless whispers?
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to have careless whispers, you're going to have to do it yourself.
Good evening, good morning, everybody.
A good time zone. Right, everyone good to go? I hear someone's munching something.
Sorry.
That's fine. I'm just doing some test rolls, and it looks like you guys are all going to die. I mean, quite balanced dice rolls tonight, actually. Yeah.
Got 3 rolls all his dice at the start of every game.
No, I do not. Absolutely not.
Preparation.
Oh look, a nat 20. Oh look, a nat 20. Oh look, a nat 20. Oh look, a nat 20.
Oh god.
Absolutely not. That would not be fair.
Hope
Anyway,
not.
picking up where we left off last week, after having defeated the Baelor and the Beholder, which was set upon you by Kenjar and Zelstina as you were making a crossing at a river on your way to WestRuun, you finally finished your 5-day journey from Stilven over to WestRuun. Upon entering the city, you decided that it would be best prudent to conduct your own business first before finding a place of residence after you had stored away the horses, the stallions, and the cart which you had rented from one of the stable masters back in Stilben. Victorious, Talar, and Temple, you guys all went to the a religious ward within WestRuun, where you set upon yourselves to find temples of your own desires. Talar, initially, you set out to find the temple to your goddess Selun, and from within, you offered a short and sweet prayer to her, thanking her for her continued devotion in you after the little transgression that you'd had a few days prior back in Stilben. As a thanks for your continued devotion to her, you're bestowed upon a magical item which you haven't really figured out what it truly is as of yet. It was a kind of iridescent iridescent violet colored gem, which was divinely placed within your backpack, and it will take you the solid night of prayer and attunement to this item to figure out what it truly is. After seeking your goddess, you returned to Temple and Victorious, and the three of you actually went to the Temple of Neyrul. Victorious and Talar, you guys stayed outside, and Temple, upon entering, you offered a silent prayer to Neyrul, seeking a bit of guidance, and you had the feeling, not your own, but you ascertained that it would have been from your god, that seeking out guidance from Nerul wasn't your utmost priority. You know your task at hand, you know what you can and can't do in order to complete that goal, so best not to waste any time. You set out with Talar and Victorious, where you entered the Temple of Bahamut. Victorious, after speaking to what seemed to be a leader or a speaker within the Temple of Bahamut, you offered a kind of silent prayer to Bahamut. It wasn't the best, but it seemed to do the trick. Just hoping that Ados and Zane, Ramon and Remur, and everyone whom you'd left behind at the Silverdrick Keep back in Akrai were safe. And rolling a 2 on a D100, Bahamut actually responded to you. Explained that the events that had been transpiring within a cry have seemed to be accelerating in progression. He doesn't understand why over the last few days the demonic and devilish threats seem to be accelerating, ramping up, being a bit more aggressive. Before parting ways with the Platinum Dragon, you did explain to him that your sister had successfully stolen the Staff of Karsus, which completely changed Bahamut's outlook on the situation. As Victorlas was finishing up his prayer with Bahamut Temple, you took a look around and spotted what seemed to be a paladin sworn to Bahamut who was overlooking the temple, the temple itself. Spoke to the paladin, a bronze-scaled draconic individual, seeking their assistance, and they didn't seem to be, from what you could tell, keen on assisting. Just subtle nods or shakes of the head, not really responding to you vocally. Before you all took your leave with a vow to return to see if you could bend their ear a little more into your favor, where we transitioned over to Nethtari and Coralina, who were on their way to a magic item shop. Coralina, after being told that her spellbook had been damaged during her petrification, she wanted to see about getting a spare, one that you could copy your currently known spells over to and just have a backup spellbook just in case something bad happens and your primary spellbook is damaged or destroyed. You came across Crixum's Oddity, which was which is owned and ran by a kind of small male elven individual. You inquired about a spare spellbook, and he went out of his way to go into the back and see if there was a spare for you. While being extremely nosy, Nethtari, you came across a cauldron that was in the back, which was bubbling with what looked to be a crimson red coloured potion. You gave it a stir. You wondered if you should have a taste, and the shopkeeper, having heard you, told you not to because it could potentially kill you. Ignoring his and Coralina's advice to not drink the potion, after seeing it turn into a kind of translucent pink color, you decided to have a drink. I mean, why not? What's the worst that could happen? And the moment you said, hey, look, didn't do anything, and turned around to Coralina, you instantly fell madly in love with her. And that's where we're going to pick up inside Crixum's Oddities.
I have been waiting all week for this.
Haven't we?
Same.
Haven't we all? So, as
you should try some of the potion, by the way. It's really lovely. What is it?
Right.
And need I remind you that last week 3 words did come out of your mouth before we ended the session, which were "I love you."
Yeah, good time to end the session. That.
Anyway, as Crixum is kind of just standing there, looking between the two of you. Absolute imbecile! I told you not to drink my potion. It was very dangerous of you to do, and now look at the ramifications. I was able to. Sorry,
I don't think the potion had any effect. I'm immune to that sort of thing. These are just my true feelings coming out now.
Oh, really? So you are immune to the effect of the filter of love, are you?
I've eaten all sorts, and nothing affects me.
Okay, prove it to me. You tell him to do something. The effects of the potion, it forces someone to, if they are physically attracted to an individual, to immediately confess their love and do as that person asks. Essentially, they are charmed. Tell them to do something. Prove it that you are not affected by this potion.
She kind of just pinches the bridge of her nose. She's may I roll an Arcana check to discern if certain immunities are even possible?
Yes, you may. Go right ahead and do
Okay.
so. First roll of the evening. On a 12, the answer to that is yes. There can be immunities to specific conditions. Charmed
Well, I mean,
being one of them.
I've seen him put worse things in his mouth, to be perfectly honest. She kind of just goes forward. She kind of like shuts her eyes for a minute and says, "Turn into a guinea pig."
Oh no.
Do you turn into a guinea pig, Nethtari?
Poof.
That little harball again.
Just Nethtari just boop, shrinks down and is now just a little wheat pig on the floor. Immune to the condition of being charmed, he says, and he does exactly what you ask him to.
This is terrible.
Squeak, squeak.
Wait. What you're going to do now, young lady, is you're going to take this imbecile out of my shop, and you can return by yourself at a later date, and I will perhaps sell you the blank spellbook that I have within my stocks. But since you are currently grouped with a thief, we will not be conducting any kind of business today. Please and thank you, get out of my shop. Now.
Okay. I guess I'll very hesitantly pick up the guinea pig. Oh no. I need time to think.
So what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go find an inn.
Okay. As you leave the shop, go ahead and roll me a perception check. 5. As you're like wandering about WestRuun, you can see a lot of individuals who are clad in like long, flowing, like dark and deep colored robes. As you kind of pick a couple of individuals and start tagging along with them, hoping that maybe they are going to like going to or from an inn that you could perhaps follow them to, but there doesn't, like, after about half an hour of like wandering around, you don't actually come across a like any kind of inn on a 5, unfortunately.
I need somebody that's more adult than me. Okay, so I guess I will like what's nearby? What's around me?
You're just surrounded by what looks to be your residential buildings, and other like people's personal houses and lodgings.
Fuck. Just look down at the guinea pig. Think you can go find an inn? Can I trust you for this?
Squeak.
1 for yes, 2 for no.
Squeak.
Okay, I guess that's good enough. I'll set him down.
Okay. And what are you doing next, Daddy?
I guess I'll go running off to the.
You're gonna run, try and find an inn as a guinea pig.
Well, I would turn back into Nethtari, but I'm not sure whether if she commanded me to do something, then I have to.
Oh no, you're immune to the charmed condition. You don't have to do anything she tells you to do.
Oh, okay. So I can turn back into a Neftari. Turn back into Neftari.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do so. I mean, as you said, you were just admitting your true feelings towards her. you're immune to the charm condition, so you don't have to do anything she tells you to do.
Oh, okay. I'll turn back into Nethtari. Yep. Okay. I can always find an inn.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a perception check as you head away from Coralina. Coralina, are you following, or you just?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Just.
Fuck, I can't leave him alone now.
An 8. With the assistant, with Coralina having been looking around already, with you being in her hands and now just actively looking out on an 8, you are able to find what looks to be an inn. The signpost that's just hung over the door looks to be a depiction of a bed with a single lit candle behind it that seems to have a crack going through it. And as you look up to the title of the inn above its door frame, it reads "The Broken Candle."
This looks like 5-star accommodation.
Whatever will do for right now, I guess.
After that confession, is an inn really the right place to go?
Well, you're not there, so who knows? Right, so you guys heading in, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. As you enter, Coralina, you're immediately just kind of really interested in what is going on within this inn. As you both step inside and glance around, you can see that there are a lot of patrons that are kicking about. A lot of them are armored, like light, medium, and heavy armor, swords, shields, all sorts of weaponry. There seems to be a gathering, like an inn, which is its main patrons aren't the townsfolk, but rather for adventurers. And as you particularly, Corlina, as you glance around, you can see that the servants, I'll say, of the establishment, the individuals, or sorry, the beings that are bringing food and drinks to the patrons, are all air elementals.
Okay, this is a little odd.
In what way?
Not many people call upon the service of elementals here, I've noticed, so, this is a bit different for me.
Okay, should we buy some beer or do you want to conjure some?
I was more looking for a room, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, wow, you move fast.
As you like at the comment, I'm assuming Carlina, you're going like a bright shade of violet at the moment.
It's not like that. It's no.
Make your way up to the bar, and there looks to be a tall, slender, bright red-haired elven individual who's behind the bar. She's just currently glancing around, watching over everyone. While she's got a pristine, clean. It's not really. It's not a tankard, but it's just like it's almost a wine glass of sorts, but it's almost spotless, immaculate. And as she kind of just puts down a very clean cloth and just flicks it with her finger, it resonates and just echoes for a solid few seconds before she places it down and welcome. What can I get for you?
To room, please.
A room, of course. Single or double bed? And she kind of like looks from you to Nethtari, who's beside you.
I just one for the moment.
Just one. Okay. Double bed will be 2 silver for the evening.
I'll pay for it.
Pass it over. She kind of gives you a look, Coralina, and then kind of looks to you, Nethtari.
I mean, my face is immediately just absolutely it stayed purple this entire fucking time.
Mm-hmm. There's the same echoing voice of the elf actually resonates in your mind. Like, are you doing this willingly or not?
It's not like that. He's a companion of mine.
Are you sure? You look quite scared, if I do say so myself.
Honestly, it's like a dream and a nightmare just rolled into one.
A dream and a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing.
I told him not to, and then. But no, we're just gonna be waiting on our other companions to show up. But I don't deal with socialization so well, so yeah.
She kind of reaches down and like gets passes you your change and throws out a couple of objects that you can't see at the moment. Still resonating in your mind. My name is Alex. I will offer you something here. If something bad happens, do not hesitate to use it. And myself and my entourage will be there to assist you. We're moving back up.
It's not like that, but I mean, I can take him.
A young girl such as yourself against a individual such as him, and you see her like kind of like give Nethtari a really shifty look. One can't be too
I just
careful.
like to gesture down to my hip rig of my spellbook. I'm okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yep, screwing up for me.
Right, and we're back. As Nethtari, as you've been like just standing there, there seems to be almost an awkward silence as between the two women before you. The elven individual behind the bar at one point actually gives you a really shifty look before she slides Coralina over her change and then passes a key and a rolled up piece of parchment.
Okay, what's going on here? It's a very crowded little tavern. Is there some sort of event?
Oh no, we get adventurers such as yourselves coming to and from my establishment on a regular basis. It's just one of the more centralized areas. You have all of the stores nearby with almost immediate access to the religious and arcane wards within the city. It's a good centralized location, so business is always booming, I'll say.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we could meet fellow adventurers here.
Well, turn around and look around. There's many adventurers here. Almost anyone who sat at one of these tables would be an adventurer such as yourself.
Do I recognize anyone here?
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check. No. On a nat one, there is nobody here that you recognize.
I could be sat at that table and with that nat one.
Probably. But no. None of your companions other than Coralina are here, and no one that you recognize is within the walls of the Broken Candle.
Okay, it's good to know we're not going to get murdered or anything.
Oh, don't count that out. If you happen to take the same contract as someone else and complete the job before them, you may get a knife in the back in your sleep. Just best not to meddle with other people's business.
Yeah, okay. Let's head up to the room.
Okay, well,
Right.
I hope you enjoy your stay. And don't be afraid Des, and don't be afraid to call for help if you need to. And as she says that, I thought you kind of glance up to the elven individual. You notice that she's kind of more looking at Coralina when she says this. As Coralina, you take the bundled up parchment and the key, head up the stairs, and you find your door, or your room, which is the farthest back room on
How
the
is
right
it
hand side.
furnished? How is it?
It's a large room with a single double bed with woolen mattress. Lots of open space. If you were to take several people inside, like this one room, you could probably fit the entire party within the room. Several people. It would be probably one person on a bedroll, one person on the sofa, and then two people on the bed, as Temple would be standing in his inanimate state.
Is there a window?
There is a window, yes. It's a
Excellent.
large double window that you could open up and it would swing outwards.
Okay. Okay, so first thing, as soon as Nethtari is there, shut the door. Immediately, I'm down on the sofa and just wrenched out my spellbook and just flipping through pages almost like frantically.
Mm-hmm.
I've got nothing for this. This is fucking terrible.
You've got something to make beer appear, though, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's not terrible then.
Say what?
That's not so bad then.
Right. Right.
I'll just sit here on the bed and admire your beauty. Do you want any help with that?
No, I think I've got it. Thank you. You can go sit over there.
So what was that parchment she gave you?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it. It's probably just some rudimentary, cantrip of some kind. Yeah, they wouldn't just give it out willingly like that. She does say something in orange. She is, I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go ahead and, where is it? There it is. Blow a spell slot for, Find Familiar, for Barkley.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Because I don't have Flock of Familiars, prepared.
Oh, rip.
Ouch.
Well,
Okay.
There goes that plan anyway. Are you just blowing the spell slot, or are you casting it? Are you ritual casting over 10 minutes?
No, I need him now. I'm blowing the spell slot.
Okay, yeah, blow the spell slot, and with a plume of brown smoke, Sir Barclay just flutters into the room, takes circles the ceiling one time before gently gliding down and landing on your shoulder.
I'll tell him telepathically, don't get too comfortable. You're fixing to go out.
Ah, a task for me, Lady Coralina.
Yes.
What can I do?
It is the utmost important of tasks for you, Sir Barkley.
Of course, my lady. I will complete this task to the best of my ability.
I ask that you take great care and you fly swiftly, because I am in grave danger.
You what? He kind of like glances over to Nethtari. What has the peasant done to you now?
Nothing yet, but that's why that's why I need you.
Unless it's a peasant.
You can't understand this. This is telepathic.
Nothing yet, but that's why I need you to go out.
Are you in immediate danger, lady?
No, I can handle him just fine if I needed to. However, I do need the presence of someone more adult than myself, so I'm going to ask that you go find the large metal man because the elf is next to him.
Of course, the elven individual.
Yes, him.
You seek his guidance.
Yes.
Of
Very much
course.
so.
It will be done, my lady. And he immediately...
I assume there's like the the dead silence of like communicating telepathically.
Yep.
Cora still has like gestures of doing. She's like slightly nodding, like
Yeah.
fingers like into like the bridge of the nose. Yep.
Nethtari, you're just watching as and Coralina just seems to be making these gestures to her Bloodhawk. The Bloodhawk has been actually glancing from her to you several times during their apparent conversation. Before, with a nod and a ruffle of his feathers, Barclay takes off and flies over to the windowsill. Kind of turns to you.
Mage hand to open it.
Door opens and he gives you a nod. Thank you, my lady, for glaring at you, Nethtari. You need just call if the peasant does something dangerous. I will return immediately.
All right, I'll look through you on occasion to see if you find him.
Of course.
Look for steeples. I think they were going to like a church or something.
That will narrow my search. Thank you, my lady. And kind of hops around, like just hops and turns on the spot before taking off and flying off into the distance. Now, we're going to take a few minutes to return to Temple, Talar, and Victorious. So, you guys have just left the Temple of Bahamut. What would you guys all like to do?
Well, guys, are we done with the god stuff?
Talar, Temple, you guys there?
I think I am finished for the moment.
Yep. I was just I had a mad rush to my microphone because I had to switch it over. Hello, yes. We're as done as we need to be. These churches aren't going anywhere. What time is it, please, DM?
It's late evening, so you're pushing about 4 o'clock ish. That's the DMG. That's the wrong book.
Victoralis, you look shocked, like you've seen a ghost or something. Do you need a drink?
I always need a drink. Just these places give me the creeps.
And I need some time to think about how I'm going to proceed. It turns out it's not going to be as easy as just asking everyone. I need to prepare. I need to think about what I'm going to say to these paladins. If I plan on uniting the paladins of all the gods to fight this threat, I'm gonna need to think about it.
Talar's looking slightly distant. Her hand is currently on her pack. I'm assuming that she has one like kind of on her hip, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm assuming that it appeared. Mm-hmm. And she just kind of has her hand on that, and she's following the other two and just kind of looking a little distant.
Silent and distant, of course.
Yeah. She's got a lot on her mind.
Mm-hmm. Could the three of you go ahead and roll me perception checks, please? This was all kind of happening at the same time. It would be about the same time that this happens. That's a natural one from Victoria, so nope.
Oh, wow.
Somebody mentioned a drink.
He kind of sneezes. Someone must be talking about him.
You guys don't really notice anything to begin with. As you're heading from the religious ward into the residential ward, there's a lot of people coming and going, a lot of noise, a lot of bustle. It's like you're getting the feeling that because it's getting quite late in the day, that people are either heading to the temple for their an evening prayer or such, or heading home as you're heading into the residential area. You're about to you're about 10 minutes walking back into the residential area before Temple, you feel something drop onto your shoulder quite suddenly. As you glance over, there is what looks to be a bloodhawk on your shoulder.
Do I recognize the Bloodhawk?
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check. Yeah, you've seen Coralina summon her familiar several times. Name doesn't quite catch your tongue, but I mean you don't have a tongue, but you know what I mean. You can't remember his name, but you recognize it as Coralina's Bloodhawk.
Ah, that's I can't quite put my finger on it. What's this little guy's name? Sir Pinkle?
Sir Pimpulus.
Talar and Victoria, let's go ahead and roll me investigation checks. See if you guys can actually remember his name. No.
INV?
INV, yes.
Why didn't
C.
I do that?
C, check. You did exclamation point R.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, unnatural 20. There you go. Yes, Talar. You listen for a couple of moments as Temple and Victorious just list off random names before you remember that this is Sir Barclay, Coralina's faithful bloodhound.
I do believe his name is Sir Barclay.
Oh, Sir Parkley. Sir Parkley, what happened, boy? Someone fall down a well?
Barclay.
The Bloodhawk
bad?
The Bloodhawk pecks you in the side of the head, Temple, that you don't feel because of your metal face. Before he takes off your shoulder and lands on your shoulder, Victorious, and kind of ruffles his feathers at you and just starts looking from you, then out into the crowd and back rapidly several times.
Okay. We need to figure out what's going on here.
It's okay. I'll try and communicate with it. I'm going to speak loudly in common.
Oh no.
What do you say?
The matter?
Kind of like Victoria, let's go ahead and roll me a perception check.
You ever watch a bird just glare at somebody?
No, even worse than that. Natural 20, you physically watch this Bloodhawk on your shoulder roll its eyes and head as Temple just asks bluntly out loud before he kind of hops on your shoulder, ruffles his feathers, and looks from you deep into the crowd and then looks back.
I think I may have a better idea. Sir Barclay, I'm suggesting one peck of Temple's head for yes, 2 pecks of Temple's head for no.
And 3 for maybe, and 4 for maybe later.
As you say this, Victorious, you actually hear a voice. I am not going to peck the Tin Man. You just need to listen to me. All of you, you're all imbeciles.
Speak slowly.
You do not understand this. Victorious, however, you do. This is in Orin. This is in Orin. It's not the fact that he can talk. It's just he can talk, but it's just in a language that you understand. He's speaking Orin, which is a dialect of Primordial. Yes, I talk. Do you understand me? No. It doesn't matter. Lady Coralina requires someone more adult than herself. You must follow me to her location. She is in grave danger.
She's in grave danger. What about Nethtari?
From what I can tell, he is the one causing the great danger.
Ah, typical.
I need you to follow me immediately. And he just takes off from your shoulder He flies up about 10-15 feet above you, just so that he's above the crowd, but starts to glide really slowly so that you can keep him in eyesight as he then starts to head away from you.
I lean over to Talar. They're just making this up, aren't they?
Turns out, Temple, the bird can talk. And he says we need to follow him. Because Nethtari's causing trouble.
I'd be narrowing my eyes, but I'm biologically incapable of it. But Nethtari causing trouble, that is something I can believe.
Somehow I don't think they're faking it.
Upon
Heroic pose, raising my fist into the air. Follow the bird.
As you question, as you doubt the conversation that Barclay and Victorious had, Temple, the Bloodhawk swoops back down onto your head and just pecks you on the head once. Imbeciles, all of you! We must leave post haste now.
He pecked once. That's a yes.
He then takes off and starts flying away again.
How about let's just follow?
Let's follow the bird.
Okay. Takes about 5-10 minutes of following Barclay, who knows the way back, as he leads you to the broken candle. And as you enter, it seems to have quietened down a little bit since Coralina and Nethtari, since you guys have entered. There's not that many patrons kicking about, but you do notice the smaller air elementals that seem to be serving people their food and drinks. And as you kind of rush in, Barclay immediately swoops through the door, up the stairs, and disappears from sight. As the innkeeper kind of sits upright and looks at you all. Is everything okay? You seem to be in a bit of a rush.
Yeah, our friend has a bird companion. He's brought us here. Apparently quite urgently.
Did you see a tiger man about yay big? Stinks a bit.
Tiger Man, not so much. We don't really see the feline races around these parts. Can't remember their name for the life of me for some reason. Tabaxi, that's it. We don't see many tabaxi around these parts.
How about a kind of smallish, pale girl?
She might have been holding a guinea pig.
Okay, that's metagaming right there. Didn't know that happened.
No, I'm just aware that Nethtari is constantly a guinea pig.
He's only transformed. He's actually only transformed into a guinea pig once.
It's fun though.
Still, anyway.
Never mind. Then retract statement.
Guinea pig? No, but does she happen to have light blue skin?
Yeah, pale light blue skin.
Okay, yes. Up the stairs, far end of the hall, last door on the right. She did have an elf friend, not Tabaxi, and I know Tiger Man, but yes, she's upstairs. I'm assuming you're her companions that she's waiting on.
Oh, she's already spoken to you.
Yes, she has. I would go rather quickly. She seems to be in, I wouldn't say danger, but if things go the way I'm expecting them to, it could be quite dangerous for her.
See, and they were together?
Yes, they were. And, well, I could say that she wasn't really a shade of blue. She seemed to be a shade of violet.
Okay. Well, it'd be rude to arrive empty-handed. Can I have I'll trouble you for 2 large ales.
Of course. And she How many of you in total? 1, 2, 3, 5. Pulls out like 5 tankards and slides them over to you before she kind of reaches down. They're not massive tankards. They're more like large mugs more than tankards. And before she pulls out 2 pitchers of ale and pops them down on the bar for you. You can pay for it once you go and make sure that your friend is safe from your traveling companion. He didn't seem too. He seemed a bit too friendly, I'll say.
When doesn't he? I think I've got a spare hand. I'm not sure I can carry all this.
Are my hands removable?
No,
can-
your
I
hands are
can
not
help.
removable. That'd have been great though. Yeah, remove his hand. Here you go.
Never mind. I had a great idea, but that's ruined it.
I'll take as maybe 3 of the cups if they have
Mhm.
handles.
They do.
And one of the jugs.
Yeah, one of the pitchers. You head up to the
Temple.
room.
Talara will take the rest.
Oh, thank you.
I'm assuming she can carry like 2 of the small
Yeah,
tankers in one hand and then a large.
yeah. You could carry the pitcher in one hand and the 2 other tankards in the other hand. Absolutely.
Okay.
And you guys head up to the room.
Yeah.
Right. In
Yep.
the meantime,
Oh dear.
Nethtari and Coralina. Coralina, how often have you been going through Barclay's eyes?
Probably that since it's just him, probably like every few minutes, like checking in on him. If I'm still in range, I'll look
Mhm.
through. If he's unsuccessful still, I'll flip back. Wait exactly like 3 minutes, flip again, flip back.
Okay. And Nethtari, what are you doing in the meantime?
I imagine Neftari's pupils have gone absolutely massive, and he's just a bit useless and just sort of staring at her doe-eyed, offering her gifts. Going through his pockets, offering everything he's got to her. Hey, you know that spell book you just ordered? You know what would look cool if you got them to bind it in this skin I got off of Beholder Beast.
We can
Oh, look.
we can discuss spellbook later.
Hey, do you like gems? I think I've got some gems here.
DM, I'm gonna ask you this for backstory flavor.
Uh-huh.
Would I be familiar with these effects?
Yes. Your sister, I believe it was, has dabbled in alchemy, and your other sister has used magic to this kind of effect. But knowing that there is immunity to his condition, and he claims to be immune, and he claims to be immune, but he did what you asked him to regardless. You're still 50-50 as to whether or not he is actually affected by this, affected by the potion that he drank, or if he's just being genuine with his confession.
You said you were in love with me, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Very romantic. Uh-huh.
What's my favorite book?
Nethtari, go ahead and roll me a history check, please.
Please tell me it's Elf Cat in Love.
Yes.
All right, give me 1 second. Coralina, Would you be able to check your notes, please?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
All right. Okay. On your history check, Nethtari, you've seen her pick up a couple of books from the fence when you were in Stillben. You did see one title. You assumed it to be a bit smutty when you first glanced at the title before she tossed it away, looking extremely embarrassed. Do you remember that much? But she hasn't actually really spoken to you about the books that she reads, other than the fact that she has her spell book. She's only ever actually read something in private or while you've been unconscious.
Oh, you were interested in some books at the bookshop, were you?
I tend to keep open eyes for anything that mildly piques my interest, but okay. I mean, you didn't answer, so I guess that's good because I never mentioned a favorite.
Isn't it your spell book anyway? I mean, you've always got that in your hand.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like saying Talara's favorite thing in the world is her holy symbol.
Well, it probably is.
That'd be weird, and she'd probably need to get a little bit more of a life.
No, that's just religious people for you. They always have some symbol to carry around.
I'm going to reach into my bag of holding and pull out a sheet of paper because I'm at the point now I just need to occupy my hands.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll me a performance check. Six. Your nerves are kind of getting the best of you, considering the situation. It's passable, but if once you gather, if everyone once Barclay finds the others and everyone gets back into the room, so you can all discuss what has happened and reconvene and maybe not be alone with Neftari, that you could probably make a better one.
Look, being alone in private is like almost like slightly better than being alone in public.
Can I tell she's nervous?
Yes, I'm not even gonna have you roll for that. You can tell that she is extremely on edge, really nervous with what was said back in the shop.
Hey, don't be scared. I'll never hurt you.
I'm not really afraid about you hurting me physically. I mean, let's be honest here. In that tournament, I kind of won. As I'm sitting there smoothing out paper.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll me another performance check. Slightly better, but no massive improvement as you're.
Well, I mean, I'm talking and doing this at the same time.
You're talking and doing it, but you are like, getting to just talk to him and not that worries at the forefront of your mind at the moment. But getting to talk to him, it's kind of going to the back of your mind. You're getting the chance to just sit down and talk to Nethtari by himself, since you're not in an occupied shop with the owner or out in the crowded streets. You're now just in a room, the two of you.
No, it's not that, but you don't have siblings, do you?
No. Well, kind of adopted siblings, but he tried to throw me in a river.
Oh, okay. All right, we're staying away from that subject. Okay. No, but something you pick up with your siblings is they love to mess with you, especially if they know there's something that you're a little bit sensitive about. She's keeping her eyes down the entire time, just folding this piece of paper. As you saw from my older brother, he's the school of abjuration, and each of us kind of have our own expertise in each of the schools. She shrugs. Father has a bit of a matching set going. My older sister, Makani, she's an enchantment mage. And I typically don't see eye to eye with her about how she uses it.
What? She enchants people against?
Yes, she does exactly what I'm assuming that potion that you drank did.
Yeah,
And,
I think the potion's worn off by now.
well, I wouldn't know because I'd have to figure out how concentrated the alchemist made it. I mean, because if you have it in a deep enough concentrate, that can last for days, maybe a week. Please don't let it be a week.
I just went lightheaded just after drinking the potion. I feel fine now.
Yeah, but it's still, I look.
You know there is one way to tell if he's telling the truth, Coralina.
And what would that be, DM?
Tell him to do something. If he's charmed by you, he has, as long as it's not anything that is immediately dangerous, and nothing that can cause immediate harm to him, he is compelled to do what you say if he is charmed.
Okay. But look, I just don't like the kind of mental manipulation that goes on, because in all honesty, would this be nice? Yeah. She's avoiding eye contact. She stopped folding at this point. It'd be okay. It'd be okay with it, but I'd rather you genuinely hate me versus being coerced to love me. Because then, you're basically a hostage, and then, we're just fooling ourselves at that point. But fine, if you think it's worn off, I don't know. Turn to a cat or something.
Well, I don't have to do that, but I could just because I enjoy being on four legs. I don't change into a cat.
And with his refusal to do that, Coralina, you know that he either never was, as per his statement, or he is no longer charmed by you. It's about this time that you hear tapping on the door. Coralina?
Okay,
Right. Temple, as soon as the door opens, you grab Nethtari, right?
I'll mage hand to open it up.
As soon as she turns her back to me, I'm going to turn into a cat.
Okay. Yeah, so Coralina, you glance away for but a moment, and mage hand, and the door clicks open, opens very slightly inwards. Barkley kind of nudges it open and hops in a couple of paces before fluttering up to your left shoulder, and then kind of hopping over your back, kind of not being careful not to hurt you as he kind of digs his talons into the fabric of your clothes before resting down on your right shoulder.
You Stop. You're
My apologies, my lady, but your companions are here.
okay.
Where is the knave? And kind of glance over to the bed. What color of cat are you, Nethtari?
A black one. No.
It's just a pitch black cat is now nestled up on the bed.
Right there.
Barclay just kind of like digs his talons into your clothes again and takes a couple of paces back and kind of hides
Okay,
just below
okay,
below your shoulder.
You need to stop. I already have marks.
There is a very, very vicious predator within the room, my lady. I would be so kind to ask you to remove it from my presence now before it eats me.
Wow, look at that long-legged guinea pig. I'm gonna try and pet the long-legged guinea.
As Temple, Victorious, and Talar enter the room, following just after Barclay. Temple, you kind of go over to the bed and just immediately aggressively patting the long-legged guinea pig.
Well, I brought room service. You're thirsty?
As Victorious and Talar place then on the large table that's just next to the window, 2 pitchers of ale with several small tankards.
I'll look around the room.
Yeah, looking for anything in particular?
The Barclay said you were in trouble. Where's Nethtari?
I just point to the bed.
Is everything all right?
Petting intensifies.
Pat,
Purring
pat.
intensifies.
The long-legged guinea pig seems to be enjoying the pats. Temple.
Right. So I'm going to pour myself a big old drink at this point. Stop choking on that. What's the problem exactly?
So,
The problem is there is a very vicious predator within my presence, and no one is removing it. Please, kind sir, remove the predator. I do not wish to be eaten.
I'm gonna pick the long-legged guinea pig up and point it at Sir Pinkley. Look, a friend!
Keep it away from me, please. I don't want to be eaten.
does he sink in the talons more?
He sinks the talons in more, yes.
Okay, you're dismissed.
Poof! And a plume of brown smoke. Barclay disappears. Coralina, you take 1 point of piercing damage as the talons sink into your right shoulder again.
Okay. I just kind of have my hand like just up there on my left shoulder.
Did he do that to himself?
After I ask, yes.
Get her.
Okay. Right, Nethtari, turn back into yourself now.
Aww. Okay. I do prefer being on 4 legs.
As
Yeah.
as you turn back into yourself, Temple, like the long-legged guinea pig.
Still holding.
Yeah, you're still holding onto the long-legged guinea pig that then slowly turns into Nethtari, and you've kind of just got your you're like, holding onto his arms kind of clenched in to his chest. You just realize it's Nethtari before.
I do not react.
So you're currently technically grappled by Temple, Nethtari.
Is he still petting me?
No, I'm holding you out at arm's length to show you to Sir Barclay, who's now disappeared.
Yeah, this is uncomfortable. I prefer the stroking, really.
Wow, these things grow quickly.
Temple, set him down.
Have I noticed it's Nethtari?
Yes, you've noticed it's Nethtari at this point.
I'm gonna put the Nethtari down and pet it.
And pet the Nethtari. You just feel a very sudden thump to your back of your head, Nethtari, as Temple begins to pat you. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, for God's sake.
There's a big difference between patting a cat and patting a humanoid.
You've got to be gentle with the petting. Gentle. Stroke gently.
Phrasing.
So, what's the danger? What was so urgent?
I can't dispel magical effects.
There's no danger. I just got a bit. My emotions got carried away with me. There was a potion, and it just made my head go a bit. You should try it.
No,
Do
I
I
don't-
get what's going on from context?
Go ahead and roll me an insight check at disadvantage.
I'll roll again.
Yeah, please. 9. Emotions aren't really your forte. You can gather that something happened between Nethtari and Coralina, which is why they're here alone in the room. But you can't really gather what's happened between the two of them.
Beer would be lovely.
I've got that covered, Nethtari. I'll pour him a
Mhm.
large cup. Hand it over. Okay, so you drank a potion, and turned yourself into a cat. And what? Sir Barkley got scared and came and found us.
Something like that, I think.
there was a few steps before that.
Oh, I get it. Nethtari's been drinking again, hasn't he? Has he said funny things?
Not in the way you would probably think.
But he has been drinking.
Not
What?
in the sense you're thinking.
Unfortunately, I've got myself banned from the magic shop. There was something there I wanted, but I can't remember what.
Under the assumption that Nethtari's drunk, can I use Lesser Restoration on him?
You can most certainly try to.
See if that does anything. Why not? I will use that second level spell slot.
And go right ahead and expend the spell slot as you place your hand onto Nethtari to attempt to cure him of his drunkenness, assuming that he's been drinking. And
As he so often is.
very true. But you know when you've managed to restore something that is affecting an individual, nothing happens.
Wait, you're not drunk? Or is my spell working?
No, I'm fine. Really.
Tap my left hand with my right as if it's broken.
No, seems to be fine. You can
I'm
move
fine.
your hand. You can move your fingers.
No, you don't have to worry. I'm fine. I'm myself. But I was serious. Are you sure you don't want this beholder skin for your new spellbook? I forget what it looks. Smashing.
Wait.
In the
Neftari,
course of
that's not like.
in the course of listening to everything that's been going on, would Talar be able to kind of put two and two together?
Go ahead and roll me an insight check. If anyone wants to try and Victorious, you as well, if you want to try and ascertain what's happened between Nethtari and Coralina, in the meantime, you can roll an insight check as well if you'd like to.
I'm still wondering why my spell didn't work, because I'm sure he was drunk.
I'll have a go. I've had experience against people trying to charm me and as well. So
On a 14, Talar, you're
Just,
not. Yeah, go ahead, Evan.
Sorry, just a random note. If he is under, I don't know if being a potion makes it different, but anyone within, I think, 10 feet of me is immune to being charmed. I think
he was never under the effect of the potion.
Oh, okay.
Nethtari is actually like, out of game. Nethtari is actually immune to being charmed. What all the potion did was really kind of give him that push to reveal how he felt to Coralina, not actually force him into it. On the 14 Talar, you can assume that it is something personal between the two of them. Something someone may have said something or have done something, which has kind of put them in this position. But you don't really know for sure what it could be. On your 21 Victorious, yeah, you can tell that. You can assume anyway that Nethtari more than likely said something to Coralina that he may or may not have should not have at the time. It's clearly made Coralina uncomfortable, to say the least. But something's like in the time that you and Temple and Talara have been away to the religious ward, something has quite clearly happened between Nethtari and Coralina. But you're actually kind of surprised at the at Coralina's reaction, considering she technically kissed him before.
Yeah.
But that's what you get off your 21.
Yeah. Well, you know, these things are complicated. We've been through a lot. I'm sure you guys will figure it out. And I'll pour myself another drink.
There's like a very subtle like, are you fucking the facial expression? Are you fucking kidding me? I needed an adult. Fuck, figure it out on my own. No.
As Coralina just kind of like goes wide-eyed and glances to you, Victorious, before kind of looking to the floor like a "oh fuck" kind of look on her face.
I'm gonna mutter into my drink as I'm sipping on it. Well, you did kind of start it.
Go ahead, Coralina. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. Let's see if you actually hear that.
Nope.
No, Victorious mutters something into his drink before he takes a gulp. Don't quite catch it.
Well, seeing as nobody's in any immediate mortal danger, what's our next plan of action?
Well, for some reason, it turns out this inn is full of adventurers. This is kind of a meeting place because it's right near all the shops and the. Let me find out if this is another Myriad sort of safe house.
Yeah, exactly my thoughts. I'm gonna head downstairs and check the place out. By the way, are we intending to stay here?
But we might need some more rooms if we are.
I agree.
Well, okay. And I'll take one of the jugs that's still got some ale left in it and my cup, and I'm gonna make my way downstairs, I think.
Yeah, with the drinks that have been had, one of the pitchers is about half empty. The other one's still quite full. But it's about half, maybe more like 2/5 full. So you could see about getting a refill if you went downstairs, or just drinking it yourself if you head down the stairs by yourself.
I'll come with you. I think I've upset Coralina. I didn't mean to scare you.
You said my name right.
And he just winks at her and follows victorious.
Okay. Temple, Coralina, and Talar, what are you guys doing? Since Victorious and Nethtari are heading down into the inn proper.
I don't see why I wouldn't do the same.
Okay, you going with? Talar, what about you?
She looks over at Coralina. Are you sure you're okay? Would you like me to stay with you for a while?
Yes.
Oh, that's adorable. Sorry.
Talar walks back over and sits down on the bed.
Okay. All right, we'll start off with Temple, Victorious, and Nethtari as you guys head to down into the inn proper. The elven woman who is behind the bar, she's still there. The place is emptied out a fair whack as it's starting to push later into the evening. Either people have left to go and like do like a job or have gone. Like they may have only been here on a for a social gathering. There's only a couple of patrons that you can see kicking about. Two elven looking individuals who are currently sharing a table, and then one individual that's off at the far back. You can't really make out much details of them, is quite dark, but you can see the glint of silver reflecting off of them from the torchlight within the inn itself.
Silver as in armor?
You don't know.
I'll approach the elven woman.
At the bar, or
Yeah, at the bar. Yeah.
cool.
Well,
She kind of
seems...
glances up to you as you approach. Welcome back. I would hope everything's gone okay up the stairs.
Yeah. So maybe a little bit of an overreaction, but everyone's fine. There's no issue. I'm just interested to know kind of what clientele you get around these parts.
You said before, adventurers.
For the most part, adventurers. Groups such as apparently now, such as yourselves, who come and look for work for coin or a place to stay during the night as they travel outwards. We've had several bands of adventurers who've stopped by to rest and recuperate. And she then like points us off to a far wall that has like a notice board, a bounty board, almost. Some locals like who are looking for someone to do a job for them can post their request up on the board and offer a monetary reward. Sometimes the bigwigs from other cities like Mon or Whitestone will come looking for able bodies to make their way out that way. Since more so for Whitestone, it is out of the way as such. And Crackhammer, sometimes we get some of the dwarven individuals from there looking for adventurers or mercenaries to do some work for them.
Okay, well, I think that answers my question before I even asked it. I'm going to go and have a look at the notice board.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So
I'm going to test the rigidity of the stools at this bar
Oh no.
by taking a seat next to Victoralis.
Go ahead and call high or low, please.
Hi.
The moment you let your weight off of your feet on the stool, it collapses underneath you and just splinters all over the place. The elven individual just kind of. Okay, this is going to be the third time I've had to tell your kind, Warforged. Please don't destroy the furniture.
Have I caught my weight before I fell and I'm sat in a squatted position?
Yes. So you're just
Maintain position.
squatting, just squatting there, about eye level to the bar as you've kind of fallen and had to stop yourself, but you're just holding yourself there.
It sounds to me like you need to hire some adventurers to go find you some strong wood or some stone stools. If that's the third time it's happened.
Phrasing.
We've oh, my apologies. We travelled from Stilburn, and evidently their stalls are somewhat more sturdy than those here.
Yes, because
So
in
do I.
Stilburn you seem to get a lot of people coming from abroad. You've got import and export there. You've got a lot much stronger goods there. We take most of our furnishings from the Bramblewood just to the west. It makes do, but when you are a 6-foot tall walking suit of armor that is, what, I'd say half a ton, a wooden stool doesn't really work that much.
Do you have a steel stool?
No. As you kind of glance around, the entire decor of this place is mostly like oak wood of some sort.
It's okay. I can maintain this position. I'm going to remain seated in a squatted position.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
She kind of just raises her hand, clicks her fingers twice, and points to the mess that you've made that is below you.
I'm sorry. Can I try and fix it before whatever is about to happen happens?
You can most certainly try to.
Then I'm absolutely going to do that.
How are you doing this?
Brute force.
Brute force. Go ahead and roll me a strength check. A 14. As you try and force one of the legs back into the seat of the stool, you manage to break the seat section in half as you pierce the stool leg through the seat. She just kind of, please just put it down.
Okay. I'm going to put it down and spin it like a spinning top.
As you do so, you feel, you and Victorious both feel a slight chill as one of the air elementals kind of flows over, and with the mini tornado of its body, the wooden splinters and fractured seat kind of drifts away into its form and is actually held there before the elemental disappears into the back.
I'm going to take 2 gold and place it down. I'm sorry about that. That should cover the drinks we've had, and perhaps you can purchase some spare stools.
And she kind of takes one of the gold pieces and puts it into her pocket before sliding the other one back to you. I have means of getting the stools back, so you don't have to worry about that. An apology would be nice, though. And she kind of leans over and looks at you, Temple.
I'm sorry. If I could heal chairs, I would.
I appreciate that, but thank you.
I'll be able to mend the chairs. I learned a new spell.
It's too late now, I'm afraid. As she kind of looks over her shoulder to the elemental that's in the back that you can't see, doing something, but you
Can
can't
your
see it.
spell fix my pride?
No, that would be in your additional notes.
I cast mending on Temple.
It has no effect.
I guess not. I can probably mend the stool. Go on, I've never tried this spell. I would like to attempt.
The elf kind of looks us over her shoulder. Well, it's currently being stripped down and put into the oven to fuel the fire. So can't really mend it, unfortunately. That's what happens when things get broken around here. If it's broken, regardless of whether it's broken or not, it still has a use.
Yeah, but I could have. Oh well.
I appreciate the offer to repair. If you'd mentioned it beforehand, I would have happily let you do that. I mean, I am now down one stool, but you have to be quick on these things, I'm afraid. I can't really let splintered wood lie on my floor. If one of my patrons takes a tumble and eats the floor, then I don't want his face full of splintered wood, now do I?
You can get a lot of fights in here then.
Not fights, but people do tend to overindulge, and sometimes people can't hold their drink at all.
I'm looking to the sky. I don't think who you could meet.
There was this one dragonborn, black-scaled. He was a sorcerer. He believed that he was built like a shit brick house, but he wasn't. He was the lightest weight thing in the bar at the time. He had maybe 2 doubles of his own brewing whiskey before he ate shit.
The Dragonbone whiskey is fairly.
It is quite potent, I will admit, but even so, you do get people that come to my bar who think they're the god's gift to the planet for drinking their whatever they can with alcohol and still walk by the end of the night. And I've yet to meet someone who can do that.
You've only just met me.
I would like to see you try.
I'll go back to the notice board.
Yeah, maybe we'll get to that later. I'm gonna
Perhaps.
pour myself another cup of ale, if there's some left. We're actually looking for someone. As I say, we've come all the way from Stilben, and this seems to be a place where we might find a lead. We've not got much information. We're not even entirely sure if they're here.
Well, that depends on what exactly you're looking for.
I was wondering whether you'd seen this, and I'm going to dip a finger into the ale
Mm-hmm.
and draw out the star pattern of the Myriad
Mhm.
symbol, just with the ale, so it stays wet for a moment and not long
Mhm.
enough to be able to see it.
She glances over. She's not really able to see it much, but she reaches into her pocket and you see her pull out 2 stones and just clicks the 2 of them together. Sparks and the ale ignites. The alcohol just burning rapidly before dulling down. She looks at it, takes a rag and wipes it off. Oh, they've passed through here a couple of times on their routes. It's about a week ago or so, maybe a bit more, that they passed through here heading north towards Whitestone. Personally, I haven't seen them yet, but if they're still up there, they're either making their way down through here, or they're here, and I haven't. They're here or have been gone, and I just simply haven't seen them.
Have they stayed here?
And not here directly. They have their own little caravan that they reside within. If you're looking to meet them, I would highly recommend checking the outskirts of town. They don't really. They come in for business, and then stay with their caravan on the outskirts. They don't stay in the city.
Good to know. Thank you. That's going to save us a huge amount of time.
Of course, but whatever you do, you did not get that information from me. These people are very, very dangerous.
Of course, we're well aware. I'll take what remains in my cup and I'm going to head over to the notice board with Nethtari.
Okay. Let's see, kind of.
So,
Sorry, on you go, Nethtari.
so far, it's just can you find my lost cow? No, nothing interesting yet.
Both of you, well, actually, Temple, what are you doing at the moment? Are you still holding your seated position at the bar?
I'm going to stand and give a sort of embarrassed nod and head back over to the notice board with the other chaps and then get back into my squatted position.
Cool. The three of you go ahead and roll me investigation checks. Okay. Nethtari and Temple, both on a 9. You don't really see anything that piques your interest.
Anything interesting on the ground around me? I'm probably looking more at the floor than anything.
There's a couple of pins that have dropped to the floor. But other than that, and a couple of scraps of paper from notices that may have been torn down. But
how many pins? How many pins am I adding to my inventory?
3.
Thank you. Smug smile.
Victorious. On a 19, as you're glancing over, you can see that there's a couple of bounties, I'll say, that are laying in behind some of the newer ones. It seems that people, from what you can gather, anyone who comes in with a bounty, with a task for adventurers, they want to get it done first. So what they try and do is post their task over someone else's, so that theirs is there at the forefront, so that they get looked at before anyone else's. They kind of lift one of a couple of bits of parchment and look in behind some of the others. There is one that actually piques your interest. It's a request for help to a large farm area just to the northeast, leading towards Whitestone. There is a pack of hound-like creatures that seem to be eating the cattle in the farm. The farmhand and the farmer and his hands are not able to deal with the creatures themselves and are looking for able-bodied adventurers to remove the pests from the farmland, and they will pay a handsome reward for anyone who's able to assist them.
Well, this one looks interesting. I'm going to pop it off the board. What do you think, Nethtari? Takes us to the outskirts of the town, heads us in the right direction.
Sure, so long as it's not find my cow.
I think this is more stop my cows getting killed by the looks of things.
So it's pretty much find my cow. But okay, I'm up for it.
Well, if they're dead, they should be fairly easy to find. Temple? You up for saving some cows?
Yes, but well, I've always wanted to see if I can lift a whole cow. So let's consider this 2 birds with 1.
3 birds, even. Gives us a reason to be on the outskirts of town snooping around.
I like it. Perhaps these pins will come in handy. I'm going to show them the pins.
There are a couple of rusty pins in Temple's hand, and one of them, the tip of the metal pin, is actually bent slightly.
It's good fun.
Okay, I need to out of game. I need to go and check a cow now. I think there's someone making a funny noise outside.
Yeah, go for it. We're about to move over to Coralina and Talar here anyway, so go right ahead. if you're not back by the time we're done with them, we'll just take a quick break so people can go to the bathroom and stuff like that and get something to eat. Or if you guys want, we can go ahead and do that just now.
That might be a good idea.
I got no qualms.
All right, cool. So that's what we'll go ahead and do. David, while you're you can go and check with the cow. That's making strange noises. Let's try and reconvene here for 20 past. David, if you're not back by then, you don't have to worry. Take as long as you need because we will be going straight into Kaelin, Diana. So just take your time. We'll go and get some food, some drink, some bathroom break, whatever it is that we all need, and we'll hopefully be back in about 10 minutes.
Cool.
Right, cool. That's off slightly. I don't know why. Let me adjust this. Come on. That's better. Looks a lot better. Right, continuing on immediately where we left off, not switching to the wrong Discord channel and spoiling things for people to see.
Yeah, don't do it.
I've learned my lesson, don't you worry. We quickly transition back up the stairs to Talar and Coralina. So the three men of the party have just left the room. Coralina, you're kind of you're still feeling a bit out there with everything that's just transpired. Talar, you've just made your offer to stay behind and talk. So, what do you guys do?
She's still kind of like folding this piece of paper she's been folding.
Go ahead and roll me a performance check.
All right.
Oh man, this is going to be a fold record.
An 11. Yeah, no, you're slowly getting there. It's just with the events that's been going on and the people that you've been talking to. You're just taking your time to make sure that every fold is correct and everything matches up properly.
Mhm.
I'd say you've probably got one more performance check in you before you finish it.
Okay.
Talar's watching her fold this paper. I'm assuming she can kind of tell that she's still kind of in freak out mode.
Yeah, you can tell. She's like not a deadpan stare, but her eyes are kind of wide, just staring down at this piece of paper, just trying to contemplate everything that's just happened.
So, what happened exactly?
As I'm still folding this piece of paper. Well, we went to the magic shop. It was pretty decent. There was a cauldron there, and I told him not to drink from it, and he did. And I think it was some kind of potion that he said he left me.
Talar gets this slightly surprised look on her face, but kind of pushes past that. So, would Talar know that this would be like some kind of a love potion at that point?
From what Coralina said, you could assume it is.
So, it was some kind of like a love potion or something?
I mean, I've got limited experience in alchemy. Most of mine's secondhand, but it's safe to assume, and given how off he acted, I mean, she kind of lets go of the paper for a moment and just kind of like rubs like just under her eyes. Her eyes are closed. He was, saying how pretty I was and offering me things, and I kind of had to get out of there. I don't people that well, and I don't know. It's so complicated. I resume folding.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll me a performance check.
Okay.
11. Yeah, no. you managed to get it finished and lifting it up. It's not one of your best, but it's still pretty good. It's a bear, right?
Yes.
Yes. As she finishes folding this piece of paper, Talar, she lifts it up, and as you you take a closer look at it, and you can see that it's actually an origami bear.
She kind of smiles at it. And what do you feel about him?
I mean, well, he's nice, and he's kind of funny, and I mean, he's a lord, so that checks out. So I don't know. I don't know how things work here. Usually when when men are brought to me to figure out would this be a good match, they're usually given a tome about yay thick concerning like everything about me. What I like, what I don't like, you know, specific you know, spells I favor and don't favor. Um, it's actually kind of a little bit disturbing if you think about it, but yeah, so I don't know, it's just odd that, he says he loves me and then like I guess it's at least good that he doesn't like pay attention to me too closely cuz he doesn't know any of my favorite things, but like I mean, with that potion he was manipulated and I, I don't want to always be told yes. I'd rather he genuinely hate me versus being coerced to love me.
Feelings in this realm are a little different, I think. I'm not sure how they are in your realm, but here
I am
people aren't
very sorry.
given a list of things of likes and dislikes. You have to find them out one by one, and it takes time. And occasionally, I've seen a bit of interaction between you two, and it seems like you guys are, at the very least, good friends, even in the short time that we've known you.
Well, I don't know. I usually have, I guess, bad luck when it comes to men. Well, because I mean, the first one set up, we won't discuss him. All you should know is that he has a scar that I gave him. The second one, he died, and most recent one had a bit of an incident. He kind of tripped, fell, landed in my sister.
In?
So, yes.
Talar has this kind of perplexed, unsure what to think about that look on her face. Okay.
I'm not the best judge of character.
Oh, well, here's a were they all brought to you though, or did you get to choose?
No, they were. I don't know how well it works here, but basically, if you're a lord that has a daughter, you kind of just spread it out that hey, I have a daughter. I am willing to offer you this much gold to marry my daughter and make sure she has a comfortable lifestyle.
I see.
Mhm.
I think I can understand why you haven't had much luck. You weren't exactly given a choice.
I mean, none of my sisters are necessarily given a choice. Even my
Perhaps-
bastard sisters.
I think here you might have that choice.
Well, so what happens? Do we just get out paperwork then?
There's no paperwork involved with this.
Oh, okay. Then what?
Just be yourself. And with what happened, I don't know if he's still affected by this potion or not, but give it some time. Just be yourself and see how he acts once it's no longer in his system.
Well, I mean, I don't know how concentrated it was. I mean, it could last an hour, a day. God's forbid, a week.
Well, if worst comes to worst, I can perform a greater restoration to release him from that if necessary.
Well, I mean, he said he was immune, but like, I don't know. I don't typically deal with people with these kind of immunities.
Is there a way you can tell for sure?
I mean, typically, I asked him to turn into a cat earlier, and he refused at first, and then, he did, so I don't know.
So, if he does something immediately without question, then that would mean he's still under the effect?
From my best assumptions. I mean, that's at least how Makani does it when she would, manipulate suitors.
So if he refused, perhaps he's no longer under it. What if his feelings are genuine?
Then I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't deal with this. I don't know.
Clara goes to place her hand gently on her shoulder, just a little bit hesitantly, but just gently.
Mm-hmm.
It's frightening at first when you realize feelings like this, or when you realize that somebody has feelings for you. It just takes a little bit of time to get used to it.
Yeah, so,
My suggestion is time. Time and patience.
okay, well then what am I supposed to do in the meantime?
Just be yourself. Just be who you always have been.
Right.
There's no need to change. No paperwork, no red tape or anything. Just be you.
Okay. Well, I guess, somewhat collateral damage, unintentional target wizard. I can be.
I wouldn't consider yourself a target.
I mean, I was kind of a statue, and then, a little bit arcanely castrated. So I do have you guys to thank for not, like, leaving me as a lawn ornament.
We wouldn't do that to you.
Well, I kind of pick up my little origami bear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess should we go see what trouble the boys are getting into?
I'm sure they're getting into plenty, and we should probably be sure that they don't get into too much more. Besides, it might be good to make sure that we have a couple extra rooms for everyone.
Right.
Are you going to be okay?
I think so. I just don't social that much, so I'm not really one for like compliments or touching or anything like that.
I understand this. But I will offer you someone to talk to, should you need to talk more. I will be there.
Oh, well, I guess, I'll keep it in mind. Because, I mean, like I said, there's certain practices that aren't used here, and there are other practices that are used here that aren't used, in the different planes.
Cultural differences can be difficult to get across, but I think it's just a matter of explaining and making sure, that there's an understanding between you and whoever you're speaking to or with.
Okay.
One step at a time.
Okay, I think I can do that. So, shall we?
I think we shall.
Okay.
Let's go get them out of trouble.
Hey, DM. As a stark contrast to the turn of this moment, can we roll for if someone has started a bar fight in the meantime?
No, because this is happening at the same time that you guys have gone down to the bar. So you guys have just picked up your pins and put them in your pack, and you were looking at the bounty board as these two come out of the room and start making their way down the stairs.
Yeah. There's no time to start a bar fight when you're busy naming your pin.
There is that, and all happen simultaneously.
Unless somebody else starts one, but
I mean, if you want to go up to one of the few patrons that are left and punch them in the face and start a bar fight, you can go right ahead and do so. But
I'm far too busy thinking of witty names for these pins.
Right. Well,
this one's Kevin. I couldn't think of anything clever.
Okay, Kevin the pin. Fair enough. Right. So, Talar and Coralina, as you guys you finish up your conversation, you make your way downstairs. Alex is still behind the bar, Coralina, as you come down. She kind of looks over to you, gives you a soft smile and a nod.
Offer a little bit of a wave.
Did everything go well up there, I'm assuming?
I guess.
Well, you're looking a lot chipper than you were before. So, if there is any issues, don't afraid to call for help. Okay?
Right.
As you're walking away over towards the guys, Coralina, you glance back over to Alex, and she kind of glances down, then glances back over to you, and squints her eyes at you for a moment before she shakes her head and goes back to what she was doing. So, Victoris, you were explaining the job that you picked up from the bulletin board for the creatures that are attacking the cattle at a farm to the northeast, as Talar and Coralina make their way across to you.
Well, I think we've got to start. We might have a lead. Got something to do, at least. We certainly need to get to the outskirts of town and see if the people we're looking for are here. And this involves saving some cows, which is always a worthy cause, and will give Temple the opportunity to pick up a cow.
pick up a cow.
I could turn into a cow.
Yes, they're quite hefty creatures. It'd be nice to test my strength.
I've used all my shape shifting for today. So
I wouldn't have dreamed of harming the fellow, though. And Neftari, there's really no.
Well, assuming that we're going to be coming back here, maybe we should secure another room or two. Although I'm thinking temple just needs to stand. I can meditate pretty much anywhere.
I will be able to make a camp.
I mean,
It's starting to get a little late, though, isn't it?
As you kind of look out the window, it has gotten quite dark. In the time that it's taken for you to get here, the time that you've had your own private conversation, you had your conversation upstairs, then come down. It's pushing 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Might I suggest a night of rest and then doing this tomorrow?
I guess we're in no major hurry. Doesn't sound like our contacts have made their way into the city just yet, so hopefully we've got ahead of them.
Well, we could plan a nighttime raid on them. Sorry, did I say raid? I meant picnic.
Yeah. Well, this notice doesn't give us too much information. It might be difficult to find where we need to go
Well, I
in the middle
mean,
of the night.
can some of us even see at night?
Pretty well.
I
can
think
see
I
pretty
actually,
well.
if I remember correctly, I actually have night vision, I think.
I mean, I have a spell for it, but it would take a lot out of me to cast it on, everyone that needs it, I would think, if it's more than like 2 or 3, counting myself.
I can turn any object into a light source, but that'd certainly give our position away.
Well, if people feel they need to rest, then maybe a hearty meal and some drinks and a good night's sleep will do everyone some good.
Mm-hmm.
I personally agree.
Okay, well, Coralina, the room upstairs, have you rented that for yourself for the night?
Yes, I believe so, but there's extra room.
Yeah, I figure let's get one extra room. At least then everyone can be sure they're sleeping comfortably. I'm gonna march back over to the back over to the bar.
Yeah. The elf woman kind of smiles as you approach. And what is it that you have there? And she kind of glances down at the contract that you've got on your hand from the bulletin board.
Well, this one seems to be of interest and looks to have been there for a while. I imagine this farmer's probably tearing his hair out. And also, if what you say is right and our contacts are on the outskirts of town, then I imagine this will give us a good chance to explore our surroundings.
Of course. I know Derek. He's been looking for help for a while now. Some adventurers have already gone up that way. It's why this one's so old. A couple of younger adventurers looking to make a name for themselves. They were a little in over their head. They didn't come back, I'm afraid. But the 5 of you seem very capable, so there shouldn't be too much of an issue. I will send the Raven up to Derek and let him know that you'll be on your way to him tomorrow. She kind of like rummages over to the side, pulls out a large kind of leather tube. It's got a cap on one end that she kind of twists and pops off. drawing out a large bit of parchment, unfurls it before you. It's actually a hand crudely drawn map of the area, almost. You can see there's no intricate detail. The only detailing that you have is like the Bramblewood, and the mountains of Gat Shadow to the west, and some roads that lead off to the north, east, west, south, east, and southwest. And she kind of points up to like a section of road to the northeast. If you were actually looking at the Roll20 map, she's pointing to here. This little triangular area kind of cuts off between the Black Valley and the Turst Fields. She just points her finger there. That's where the field is. If you're going out on horse, it's about half a day. On foot, you'll be about a day's travel. So, it best leave early tomorrow morning, or if you want to leave it later and take some horses, maybe in the afternoon. But that's where you'll be heading. I'll let Durek know that you're on the way, and I do recommend that you be careful. Apparently these things are quite vicious. Even Durek doesn't really tell me what they are, but they're big, sharp teeth, large claws. Yeah, that works for monsters.
Yeah, we've become quite accustomed to big, pointy teeth and claws.
Well, they certainly look like the a group that's dealt with large claws and pointy teeth.
But with that in mind, could we rent an additional room?
It's kind of like
thing.
Glances over. You follow her gaze over to Coralina. Yeah, I can do that. Kind of leans over and rummages around in what box. You can hear metal kind of racking off of one another. She pulls it, slides it over to. Polar opposite of the room that your blue friend is in. What is she? Is she a tiefling or?
Sorry, what was that?
Is she a tiefling or what is she? You don't really see blue individuals unless they've got scales.
No, she's quite the individual. To be honest, we're not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think she said she's some sort of tiefling. I think cross.
Interesting. Kind of looks down. She's got something in her hand that you can't see. It's below the bar. Kind of looks from the thing that she's holding to Coralina and back. Very interesting. Anyway, take your key. I'll give you a group rate since you're all together, and you can pay in the morning before you leave.
Those some cigars you've got there on the back bar.
That's of need to know basis, and you don't need to know, I'm afraid.
Even if I want to buy some.
It's not for sale. Anyway, your food and drink will all be included in the price. You'll pay when you leave, as I've said. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, thank you. We'll make ourselves comfortable, I guess, and a selection of your finest food, a couple of jugs of ale would be very much appreciated.
And some cigars. Please. If you have any.
I don't have any. If I did, You wouldn't be getting any, I'm afraid. She kind of leans over and takes another large pitcher, fills it with ale, passes it to you, and pass me that one. Because you still have the almost empty pitcher of ale in your hand. Takes it from you, refills that. You now have a total of 3 pitchers of ale between you now and the room. Try not to break my stuff again. But I hope you enjoy your stay.
Thank you. I'm going to take my. I'm going to gather the 3 pitchers of ale up in my arms proudly.
2.
I'm gonna...
There's only 2 there. There's one that's up in Coralina's room.
Oh, of course. I'll take 2 of them. And is the individual who I noticed the silver glint from still in the...
They are. They're still at the back of the room. As you glance over, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Natural 1.
Natural 1. You can see them drinking something, but you have no idea if they're looking at you, looking like at their feet, like you just know that they're over there.
That's cool. I'm going to take my ale and I'm going to find a table as uncomfortably close to that table as possible and sit myself down.
Okay. Basically, essentially, he's at the back corner table, so you can take the immediate adjacent one. Still quite dark. But when you sit down, you would essentially be like directly across from him. There is a like chair and like a kind of a low hanging wall to separate you, like kind of like a booth that separates the 2 of you. But like if you were to turn around and look, you would have you'd be able to look directly into his face, well, into their face.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just going to get myself comfortable, sip on my ale, and put my feet up.
Okay. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I want to talk to some of the group away from everyone else. Oh, quiet.
Okay.
Claire's probably going to be staying near Coralina.
Okay.
I'll go talk to you 2 then.
Are you guys doing this in the inn proper, or are you going back up to the room?
I'd like to go back upstairs, please.
You can kind of see that like Coralina, like she began to settle down. Like after Talar, after speaking to you, she began to settle down. And then after you've come downstairs and everything seemed to be okay, but something's caught her eye, and that look of worry on her face when you first entered the room when it was just her and Nethtari has come back.
We can go back upstairs.
Okay, that sounds great.
Something I want to talk to you about.
Okay. And Templar, are you going upstairs with them?
No, I'll sit next to Victoralis if possible.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, move over to the table and sit down, Victoralis. And we'll go to Talar, Nethtari, and Coralina first. So you guys like bid farewell to Temple and Victoralis as you move away. Coralina's kind of like dashing ahead of you, like rushing to get away from this environment. But a few moments pass and you open the door and enter it. You're now alone in your in the bedroom that you've rented out for the evening.
That pitcher of ale is still there, yeah?
Yeah, the pitcher of ale is still there.
I pour myself one.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll sit down on that little sofa and start nursing it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like us to come in?
I mean, I think that was what was assumed. Yeah.
She walks in and sits down on the bed.
Mm-hmm. Nethtari, where are you sitting?
I come in and shut the door, and then I quietly say to them both, "Did anybody get a funny feeling from the
Can I roll to see if Talar would have picked up on anything?
Go ahead and roll me an insight check at disadvantage because you weren't actually there conversing with her. 13. You did notice that she was kind of glancing like to Coralina every now and then, but from how you interacted with her before, she may have just been glancing over to Coralina to make sure that she was okay. You're not quite sure.
Coralina, you said your father had bounty hunters or something after you?
Coralina?
I'm sorry. What?
You said your father had sent bounty hunters or something after you?
Yeah.
The innkeeper seemed to be quite interested about what you were. She was glancing down at something. Would they happen to have a photo of you or something? What if she's the? I mean, this is a pub full of adventurers. You know, if anywhere they're going to ask for bounty hunters, it would be somewhere like this. Perhaps your picture has been posted, or perhaps a note to look out for.
You're pretty on the money there.
Well, you got the same feeling.
No, I just saw old pictures over on the notice board.
What sort of pictures? What of you?
Yes.
Oh,
Hmm.
I didn't see them. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Those are old, so I guess I'm more glad that you didn't see them.
No, but if there's pictures there and the innkeeper was looking at something, I think that this place is full of air elementals. I think we don't want to stay in this room. We need to get out of here.
Well, I mean, if we're that concerned about people breaking in and whatnot, I mean, I haven't had my room broken into yet.
Well, the last town we were in, that's where we got our room broken into, and we got carried off to the thieves guild. We didn't.
You hear a sudden, not sharp, but shallow knock on the door.
Who goes
Talar
there?
looks over at the door with a look of apprehension. She's gonna stand up and her wings kind of spread out a bit, kind of in a defensive stance. And she's trying to position herself in front of, or like in between the door and Coralina.
Mm-hmm.
Who goes there?
It's me. I just have a question for your group, if you don't mind. You recognize the voice of the owner of the inn.
Okay, come in.
Just as a point, would I have noticed her heading up?
You would
Stairs?
the both of you would have noticed that she would have head upstairs, both you and Temple. She didn't look like angry or anything like that. If anything, she would have had a look of concern on her face as she left the bar.
Okay.
So would you say there, Nethtari?
I opened the door to let her in.
Okay. She kind of like slowly walks in with a soft smile on her face and sees you and Talar kind of like not at full span of your wings. The room's not big enough for that, unfortunately. But kind of kind of spread your
out
wings,
about
yeah.
2 feet on either side.
A couple of feet, just kind of like show of force. You can relax. I'm not here to cause any trouble. Um, I've just been told to be on the lookout for a certain individual. She kind of like reaches into her pocket and pulls out a piece of paper, unfolds it, kind of leans over to look past your wings to Coralina. Coralina Isina Hydra? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Kind of folds the paper up and puts it back in her pocket. Let me ask you, do you have a reason for being a missing person? And she air quotes the missing.
Personal reasons?
Personal reasons. Do you wish to be found? Are these guys your captors or true companions?
What? No, these aren't my captors. I'm here willingly.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. And she kind of gives you a smile. Kind of taps her finger to her nose, and walks out. Can the three of you give me an insight check?
Talar did not relax at all during that entire thing.
Nethtari and Coralina, you guys aren't too sure how to take the that encounter. Talar, you've actually seen that gesture being used before, which is kind of a like a tap to the nose with your fingers, kind of like my secret. Like it kind of say a gesture to that's my secret. You're on a 14. You're not too sure if she's being genuine, but from what you can gather, she might just be looking out for Coralina. Not 100% sure though.
She lets out a soft, kind of a grumble growl, but her wings relax as the bartender leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she might be genuine, but at the same time, something still doesn't quite feel right. I'd recommend caution for the night.
Yeah, the problem is we came in this pub earlier today when it was absolutely full of people, and a lot of them were the sort of people that are looking to make coin. And if your picture's up on the bloody note,
I mean, I can wait until, everyone's gone to bed and get Sir Barkley to tear them down. That's what I usually have him do.
yeah, but it's the people that have already seen. The innkeeper knows where we're going tomorrow. She knows who we're going to see. She knows you're you. This is. No, there are certain spells I know which could get the innkeeper to, be quiet and be on our side if she isn't already. But I have none of them.
Right, and I usually don't have my usual, I guess, fail-safe of, of knowing who walks into my room and when.
Okay, I'll go back out to the chaps, see what they think.
All right, and with that, we're going to move back over to Victoralis and Temple. So you guys have just taken a seat at the table just adjacent to the individual with the silver glint. I was at the back of the inn proper. You glance up and see Coralina kind of dash away with Talar and Nethtari following behind. And after about a minute or two, you see the owner behind the bar kind of move out from the wooden gate, head up the stairs, a look of concern on her face. But she disappears up the stairs. What do you guys want to do?
DM, is there anything suspicious about the people on the table next to me now that I've had time to sit down and get a feel for them?
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check. And Victoris, I'll let you do this as well, since you've both been sat at the table for about the same time. If you want to, of course.
Yeah, I'll suss out who's sitting next to us. Or not.
Okay. Now, on a 7 temple, you're not really paying attention to the individual that's essentially behind you. You glance over to the other side of the room, and there's the two other elven individuals who are currently just they're kind of swaying in their seats. You can see that their eyes are kind of lolling about in their sockets. They look extremely intoxicated. The two of them don't seem to be of any concern. Victorlus with the 9, the individual who is directly behind you, getting a now closer look. You can see they're wearing black chainmail armor. They have 2 short swords, from what you can tell, strapped to their hip. And the silver glint that you saw was the reflection of their scale color. This is a draconic individual.
Interesting.
Yes, it is interesting. It's amazing how drunk those elves are.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really interested, Temple, in how you come to name those pins.
They're all called Kevin. I couldn't think of anything else.
Well, how are you going to tell them apart?
Well, one of them is slightly bent, and I think this one's off color. The point is, I'm going to find a use for these.
I'm sure you will. And more excitingly, tomorrow we get to go and see cows.
I wonder how hard I could throw a pin. Enough for a cow to notice?
I imagine so. You've thrown a donkey hard enough for a door to notice.
I had completely forgotten about that.
You as you say that, Victorious, you can hear the draconic individual just kind of cough into their drink.
Excellent. I'm going to turn around and say in Draconic, sorry to disturb you, friend. We'll keep the noise down.
Kind of
see if I can get a better look.
Kind of glances up. As he looks up, you can see the silver. The reason it was only a fleck is because a lot of his scales, and you can't tell it's a male at this point, have actually dulled down. It looks to be quite an old dragonborn individual. Kind of tilts his head and looks at you in surprise, and replies in Draconic. That's quite all right, friend. You're here enjoying yourself, as am I. There is no harm in that.
Well, we have ordered some food. We have plenty of drinks. If you're alone, you're very welcome to join us.
I appreciate that, and I will take you up on that offer. He very slowly stands up, and you can see he's got a bit of a limp as he moves. It's only a few feet, but he limps basically the entire time. He then takes a seat just across from you guys in the small little table section that you guys have. He switches to comment at this time and just looks between the two of you. So, what brings young adventurers like yourself to WestRuun?
Well, we've been sent on an errand from Stillman, trying to meet a contact here, but they've given us very little information. So we thought a place like this would point us in the right direction. And well, we've got a task for tomorrow that may earn us some coin and give us a chance to investigate a little further.
Of course, my job's never as simple as it sounds, is it? Always have to work for your find.
Of course. I'm sorry. Let me introduce. This is my good friend Temple, and that's Kevin, and Kevin, and I'm Victorious.
It's a pleasure.
May I ask what brings you here, or are you a resident?
My name is Dravroth, and I consider myself a resident now. I've been all over the land of Taldari doing what I can to help whoever needs it. Sometimes for coin, and mostly just to help people who are in need. But I'm kind of like reaches over to one of his arms, and you actually watch him physically pluck one of the grey scales from his arm, and just like discards it to the side, just next to him. Old age is taking its toll, I'm afraid. I don't think I'm long for this world.
Well, we'll certainly make sure you're taken care of this evening.
I appreciate that.
Pour him a cup of ale and pass it.
He takes it, raises it to you before slowly starts to drink it. So this job that you have, may I ask which one it is?
Yeah, it's just a farmer having some problems with a beastie or two attacking his flock, his cows, his herd.
Yes, the one where the younglings lost their lives. It's too bad the newer generation of adventurers don't listen to their seasoned veterans. I did warn them not to take on a job as dangerous as that. They didn't listen to me, of course.
Well, the young seldom do. Do you know much about these creatures?
All I know is they are large, very vicious, and mostly work in packs of 2 or 3. I haven't seen them myself.
Well, it sounds like it's been going on for some time, so something needs to be done.
I would have dealt with it myself, but if I'd gone off there by myself, if my father were still with us today, he'd have my tail.
Was he an important dragonborn?
Oh, important to me. He was my father. But he taught me how to fight. Taught me the difference between right and wrong. Even though it's quite a grey area for most people. But I know when to do the wrong thing for the sake of good people.
Like my father's taught me similar lessons. Whether he knows it or not.
Sounds like an important person in your life.
Yeah, but for all the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
Have you heard of a cry? Ever been
It's,
there?
it's the small island to the far southeast, beyond the teeth, correct?
That's correct.
I've not been there personally, but I know of it.
Well, let's just say it's not the place it used to be. It's certainly far from what I used to call home. And yeah, my father may have had a hand in making that happen. That's why we're here in Taldori.
A ruler or a conqueror?
Yet to be seen, but be sure his intentions are not good.
Interesting. I do hope that if you're able to resolve the situation, that everyone comes out of it happy. Hopefully you perhaps reconcile with your father. I know I wish I could have.
Maybe, friend, maybe.
Davros kind of like glances over his shoulder outside, and as you look over, you can see that it's gotten quite dark now. You see the elven owner kind of return to the bar, and he just kind of finishes his drink and puts the cup down. Well, I appreciate your hospitality and having a conversation with me. Some people see the scales and the teeth and the claws and shy away from my kind, but we're just a proud race. We do not bite unless you ask us to.
I'm well aware, good sir. Become quite familiar with your race over recent times.
Oh, you've met some of my kind, have you?
Yes, more than I would expect.
I don't expect to see many more of me, or my kind, in Taldori. Most stick at home. Others are seeking artifacts and knowledge to benefit Draconia. And then there are outcasts like me who leave home for the betterment of oneself. Anyway, you enjoy the rest of your evening and your drink. And maybe cross paths again. Slowly stands up.
Should we return alive from our little quest tomorrow? Then I hope to share another drink with you.
And you'll hopefully tell me all of the glorious and gory details of your victorious battle.
That we will.
It gives you a curt nod, and like he takes a little half step back and kind of extremely lowers himself to you before standing back to his full height. Alex, I am retiring for the evening. Elvon. Of course, Drav, just don't scratch up the floor again. Yes, whatever you say, woman. As the Dragonborn steps away, this is actually the first time you've had the chance to see a Dragonborn from Taldori up close and personal. You did interact with the red scaled one that was in the cart from beforehand, and
Mhm.
you saw one from one of the bars that you'd entered when you first came to Stillman. But just like a couple of moments or on the cart, you didn't get to really inspect them properly. He's a lot taller than any of the Dragonborn that you've seen. Much better built, even though he like from what you know of Dragonborn, they only live to be about 80, maybe. Even for being quite old, maybe in his 60s, close to 70s, he looks really well built. And for a Dragonborn, he has a tail. As he steps away, you actually see he physically lifts his tail off of the floor to avoid scratching the wooden floor, as per um, Alex's request as he makes his way up the stairs.
Oh, interesting the people you meet. Hey, Temple.
Interesting indeed, and we do well to take wise advice from our elders.
Is probably true, although in my case, I'm not so sure.
Yours is a special case. Speaking of which, I'm sure it's been settling on your mind. I truly don't know how what seemed to be Kenjar's soul ended up where it is.
No. And do you have memory of the time that soul occupied your form?
No, I know a soul is required for a Warforged's existence to be maintained, but I don't know where it came from, and I don't have any memory of Kenja or anyone like him from before we met him together at place.
Denfasari.
Denfasari, that's the one. But it's unnerving. But having such an evil soul within me does explain some of the more out of character actions I've taken lately.
I'm wondering whether that had influence on your ties to Neyrul. Was that him or was it you?
He claimed to be doing what he did in the name of Nerul. Perhaps this was part of it. Perhaps he planned on using me, but never could. I could only speculate.
Well, two things we can be certain of. Everything up to that point he may well have seen and heard, and therefore knows exactly what we've been up to. The second is that, and most importantly, he's gone from your form now.
Can we even be sure?
I suppose not.
I mean, can we be sure he's not even listening right now? There's been some truly horrific yet incredible things we've seen from him. What he's capable of is more than I've seen from even the most powerful of wizard, warlock, or sorceress.
Yeah, well, given what we've seen and what we know they now possess, anything's possible. I don't think we have any other choice than to keep going. Whether he knows or not, it's not going to change what we need to do.
Well, although I'm skeptical about how I'm going to achieve it, I'm quite confident in my goal being the right answer. The combined might of the forces of as many gods as I can muster will stop him. We will undo what he has done, Victoralis.
I know that's the objective. To wonder what happens to me when, and if we succeed. Still, bigger things to worry about. It's an entire continent to save.
A whole world, even. Well, on that very heavy note, shall we call it a night?
As soon as I get my food, I'll be taking a rest. Here, you can take the key if you want to find yourself a spot in the room.
I was going to stand in the corridor outside where I could see both of the rooms. I'm not too confident in our safety here, and you could be hunted by people. We, as a party, Coralina, doubly so. I'm going to be on lookout, as I always.
Okay. That's good to have you on watch, Temple.
If my life depended on it, well, I'd give my life for all of you. So that's never going to change.
Okay. And with that, a few minutes later, a large platter of food is brought out to Victoralis. It's got a mixture of vegetables, with what looks to be a pheasant, with a like what smells to be like a honey mustard dressing of sorts. And as Alex kind of approaches, she fills up your tankard with the ale that she has available, leaving your picture alone. And it says, "Well, that's the bar closed for the evening. So what you have here is what it'll have to do for the rest of the night. But if you need anything else, if you need something to clean up, if you make a mess, just give me a shout, okay?"
Of course, I'll try not to make a mess.
I appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And she kind of whisks away into the back. Are you guys planning on doing anything else other than eat your food and then head up for turn in for the night?
Nethtari would like to come down and talk to Vic.
Okay.
Talar's gonna stay in the same room, and after making sure that Coralina is safe and hopefully not freaking out too much, she'd like to start getting ready to figure out what this thing is that she has.
Okay. With that, all you really need to do is spend a few hours of prayer as you focus on the item, before attuning to it after a long rest.
Okay, so
Is Talar standing or sitting?
I was actually about to get to that.
Because if she's standing, Cora's just gonna pour another ale. Please don't stand. You're making me nervous.
I was about to sit down, actually. And she's actually going to go and sit in a corner of the room with the item in her hands, and she's going to enter a meditative state in prayer.
Okay. Coralina, you want to do anything?
Oh, I'm drinking.
You're just drinking. You're just drinking that picture to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
She's got a lot to sift through.
Like it was a couple of minutes after you've had your like after you've gotten your food. Victoria says Nethtari slowly comes down the stairs, spots you off in the dark corner. You see the an old silver scaled dragonborn walk past you in Nethtari as you're walking down the hall. Keeping an eye on him, he enters to the room that's 2 doors down on the right hand side. So not directly adjacent to Coralina, but the room adjacent to that one. Make your way downstairs and head over to the table where Victorless and Temple are seated at.
I'd like to go to the notice board first
Mm-hmm.
and look for these pictures.
Okay. As you scour through, yeah, it doesn't. It only takes you a couple of minutes. You see that there's like just like with with Victorless and the bounty that you picked up. There are a lot of like pieces of paper and parchment and notes and bounties that are pinned on top of older bounties. The newer ones wanting like people coming in and saying, okay, this is no mine is priority, so just pinning it on top of old ones. As you skim through some of the older pictures, you actually see a what looks to be a picture of Coralina with a missing sign above her head. From the look of her, she's got much longer hair. Her face is a little bit fatter. Um, her eyes, she just looks younger in this picture. But underneath is missing heiress Coralina Asina Idra of House Ramiel. Large reward for safe return.
Okay, I take that off the notice board
Mhm.
and put it in. Just hide it on myself and go over to Vic. And as he's eating, I slide it across the table with my hand over it, just so he can see. And I just let him see it and raise my eyebrow without saying anything. Just let him know that it's
Yeah, just before you, Vic, as you're eating your food, is a missing picture, missing poster, which has a depiction of Coralina. Looks a little younger than what you recognize her, with her name and large reward for safe return.
Sorry, have some food. There's more than I can eat here. What's this?
this was on the notice board in this bar that's generally frequented by adventurers looking to make coin. I hope nobody recognised her, but I know for sure the innkeeper did. She's already been up to the room to ask. I think she'll keep it to herself, but I don't know about everybody else that's been in here.
Seems that every place we go to, somebody's under watch from someone. Okay. We should be careful. Temple will be standing guard in the corridor between our two rooms tonight. That's as secure as we can hope to be in a place like this.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the room just check out the escape boots. In fact, I might just go take a quick. Is the innkeeper locked up for the night?
In the process of locking up.
I was wondering about taking a quick walk around the block to see what our escape routes were like, but it's probably too late now. I hope our rooms have windows. I might be able to cast a spell before we sleep. We could just sleep really lightly and get out of here before everybody else wakes up or something. I don't know how long or I don't know. What do you think?
Well, as I said, Temple will be on guard, and I need only 4 hours of meditation. so I'll keep watch as best I can.
Just whether we can trust the innkeeper to keep it quiet, because she knows where we're going tomorrow.
I can promise our safety. I'm as aware as I am now while I'm resting, but if this innkeeper knows and maybe she thinks that we're holding her hostage or something, we could have a problem on our hands. If I see anything amiss while everyone's asleep, I'll give the
Give the s.
yes, the signal.
And the signal is.
I assume it's
I
very
will
loud.
open my mouth and shout very loudly.
Sounds good.
Would you like me to lay? Would you like me to lay traps on the floor in case anyone sneaks up on us?
We don't want to accidentally catch one of the other patrons of the inn, do we?
And I wouldn't like to hurt Kevin prematurely.
No.
I think the statuesque figure of you standing in the hallway will probably be enough of a deterrent, Temple.
I've been told I am rather intimidating.
Yeah, just by people who don't know you. Anyway, I think that's me. I've had my fill of food. There's a little left in this this jug that I'm gonna take with me, but I guess we should think about resting and heading off on this cow saving mission first light. I'm not keen to hang around here any longer than we have to if people are our little wizard friend.
I carefully fold the poster and put it in my pocket.
Mhm.
That can be useful for later.
Oh, God.
Oh
So
my.
you chuckled first,
Wow.
and then you were like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. No, that could be useful for some things later on. Oh God.
Oh, that
Oh
thing.
no.
What is everybody laughing at? Does Nethtari plan on taking the bounty? Temple
Yeah.
doesn't get it.
Let's go with that.
If
Anyway,
you want to call it
so
taking the
Why is everybody embarrassed?
so I'm assuming you guys are going to be heading up to your rooms to retire for the evening.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and take the key up, unlock the room, and I don't need to sleep on a bed, so I'm just gonna get myself kind of comfy into meditation, ready on the chair or whatever. Find a place on the floor that's comfy.
Okay. Sorry, what are you wanting to do?
Yeah, he'll go to bed too.
Which room are you going in?
Well, he's going to knock on Coralina's door first. And
How far have I gotten into this picture?
Go ahead and roll me 2 Constitution saving throws.
First one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and you're getting quite you're getting quite far away with yourself.
Okay.
You're not completely fucking out of it. You're not absolutely wasted, but
Hey,
you're
my nerves are
slow.
shot.
You're slowly getting there. So, Nethtari, before you go and retire for the evening, you knock at the door, poke your head in through the doorway. Sorry.
Temple's going to keep watch out here for tonight.
Okay. I mean, I'm almost done with this. How far have I gotten in, DM?
You're about 3/4 through this picture by yourself.
I snap my fingers and refill it.
All right. So Nethtari, you just watch as Coralina kind of looks over to the pitcher that's about 3/4 empty and it refills back to the brim.
Well, you can't drink all that yourself.
I scoot over.
Yeah, I go in and pour myself a picture as well.
Okay.
Is Talar far enough into her meditation that she's not hearing anything that's going on,
No,
or
you've just started, so you're aware that Nethtari's just entered the room.
okay? She's not going to say anything. She'll keep attempting to focus at this point.
Okay. So, Nethtari and Coralina, are you guys just going to be drinking the night before you eventually pass out?
Yeah, I do have one thing.
Yeah,
So while I'm a bit tipsy,
go for it.
so I conjured a bear.
What? In here?
Mm-hmm. You want to
Okay.
see?
Sure.
All right. Close your eyes.
Okay.
Hold out your hand.
How big's this bear?
Pocket size.
As you, after a couple of moments, you feel something extremely light being placed in your hands, Nethtari. And as you open your eyes, there is a white origami bear in your hands.
He doesn't fight, but he's good company.
I'd like Talar to just kind of briefly open up one eye, just to look at them, slightly smile, and then close her eyes again and continue.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll treasure it.
Hey, it's just a piece of paper. It's just, it's a stupid hobby.
I took this off the notice board. It's the only one I found. I handed the piece of paper with a word
Mhm.
notice.
Well, a missing notice on it, yeah.
Yeah. So, how long have you been missing?
2, 3 years maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot happens, right? She kind of looks over and looks at the picture. Yeah, I kind of lost all that baby fat. Most of it.
I'll look after you.
Well, I mean, you've looked after me so far. I mean, well, one, I would have been dead first. The second instance, I would have been a lawn ornament for the rest of my life. And, I don't know how to say, there's a phrase in common. One doesn't want to die, untouched.
Okay, and I look at Talar. I should be a gentleman tonight. And, yeah, my excuse isn't go to sleep in the other.
Talar has a very slight grin. She's trying not to make it obvious at this point.
Okay. No, you make up your excuse, Nethtari. You, as the gentleman you are, take your leave and head across the room to the head across the hall to the other room where Victorless is set up with his with his meditative state. You pass Temple, who's taken up sentry in the hall.
I'll pick up my tankard and keep drinking.
Yeah, go right ahead. Oh, just do that. There we go. And with that, Coralina, give me one more Constitution save before the end of the night.
Meanwhile, Talara is now able to focus a little bit more, and she's going to get deeper into her
Yep.
prayers for the evening before falling asleep.
I
later
think this is
on.
actually the first wizard that can actually handle her alcohol.
Kind of, yeah. But no, with the 20, you managed to finish off the rest of.
Did I do the thing I asked about?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
But you finish off the rest of the ale. You see Talar is deep into her meditation, into her prayer. So without disturbing her, you.
No,
find-
I got a question to ask.
Oh yeah,
'cause
go right ahead.
I'm slightly gone.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you want the bed because you're like bigger than I am, or do you want the couch?
Would Talara be deep enough into her meditation to hear this?
Go ahead and roll me a con save. Yeah, you're quite far into your meditation. So essentially, you're basically unconscious here as you're into your meditation / prayer onto the about the object that's currently nested in your hands.
So there is
No
no
response.
movement, no answer, nothing.
I just kind of more nod to myself. Okay, guess I'll take the couch then. Is there multiple blankets on this bed?
Yeah,
or is
there's
it just...
multiple blankets. Yeah.
I'll take the top.
Mhm.
Go over to the couch. I'm cocooning myself there for the night.
Cocoon. And
Mage burrito.
Yes, magically delicious.
And magically delicious. And with that, we're going to call an end for the session there tonight. As that is 10 to midnight. And people have work tomorrow morning. I really can't be fucked going, but I have to go anyway. Right. Well.
Good.
Sorry?
Good session.
Yes.
Can we have any more awkward moments?
It wasn't really awkward to say.
In a cool way, cool storytelling, expressing emotions and all that, but goddamn.
I mean, you guys were making it awkward with the stuff that you said, not me.
Sorry.
Sorry,
I
not
am playing
sorry.
a character.
Sorry, not sorry.
You want awkward wizard? I give you awkward wizard.
We didn't ask for awkward wizard. You just gave us awkward wizard, and we have to deal with it.
Oh, this is what happens when you don't snack charisma.
Poor Nethtari had to deal with it then.
Poor Nethtari had to go into a room by himself.
Anyway, with a photograph of Coralina.
No, he gave that to Coralina.
I'm sure he has his memories, though. Imagination.
Last week when he was charmed, I didn't realize that he was resistant to being charmed by the potion.
Yeah, completely immune. I wasn't aware of that either, actually.
It was completely going off. Yeah, right.
It was a good bit of retcon we did there, and you ran with it, so it worked. But anyway, we're going to call that a session for this evening. So let me actually quickly go and take a look on Twitch and see if there is anyone live for D&D at the moment that we can go and host.
Hopefully it'll be less awkward than our session.
To be fair, it probably will be.
Probably.
Here we go. We'll send everyone over to these guys. This is the Legends of Evantris is the channel name, and I believe they're currently going through the Curse of Strahd module. So before we go ahead and host them, quick thanks to you guys for coming in every single week and putting up with my bullshit as per usual. I hope you've enjoyed tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any session where I add items to my inventory is a damn good set.
Cool. So make sure that you add fluff to your inventory every single night, just to.
But I've added Kevin. I've got the Idiot's Guide to Geology. It's all working out.
It's all coming up, Temple. Anyway, with that, we're going to call it for tonight. We hope you have enjoyed the session, and we will catch you next week for the next session of Dragons and Dungeons. Have a good night, adventurers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.